our guests who have come to explain some of the policies improvements to the Liberian. So we invite our guests to the platform to talk about.
All right. Good afternoon from Liberia, and welcome to a radio. My name is Abraham Collins. I'm live to you from the grounds of the Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs, and Tourism special press briefing. Based on the holiday on tomorrow, there was some adjustment on today's special occasion. Guests I will be speaking also, give details on the initiatives undertaken by the ministry to some extent in terms of the reconditioning of the summer Canada sports complex and most rather count Joseph, who also be providing information concerning the effective medical doctors that entering the country recently to provide some health services to our people. And in attendance will be Acting Public Work Minister Honorable Ruth Corker Collins, to highlight the issue of road connectivity, how far the government is in the process of giving back to the citizens in terms of affording them good roads in the parts of the country. And also in attendance will be Dr. Francis Ketteh, the Deputy Minister for Health at the Minister of Health, the Republic of Liberia, will also provide some health information to the public regarding the issue of COVID, cholera, and other diseases as well. And then in attendance also will be Honorable Ronald W., the Acting Executive Director of the Environmental Protection Agency, who will also provide updates on the institution as well to the public. So sticking still, don't be going anywhere. We're going to bring it live to you right there on the camera from the grounds of the Ministry of Information, Culture Affairs and Tourism. The name is Abraham Collins. I'm saying welcome to this unique broadcast.
What I've learned from the Liberia National Park, that's a big news for us, and we all are anticipating that process to come on very soon. All of you in the media world understand that next year Liberia will be celebrating past centennial. We'll be having our celebration like well, in 200 years. So the president is actually and to provide support to the work of the National Bicentennial Steering Committee and the subcommittee chairs, co-chairs, and members were appointed based on the recommendation from the National Steering Committee coordinator, Nathaniel Palomade, and the National Chairman, Mr. Lakibu Julius Brennan. The committee, I will only call the committee and leave the chair people. So you have the committee that was set up. The investment committee is chaired by the National Investment Commission chairperson. The tourism, Ministry of Information. Then you have the cultural and tradition, Ministry of Internal Affairs. The hospitality, lodging, and transportation, General Services Agency, chair that committee. Diaspora, the Ministry of States and chair. Ministry of State, chair that committee. Protocol and invitation, chief of protocol. The souvenir is chaired by the Minister of State. The city beautification is chaired by the Moreover City Corporation. The security is chaired by the Minister of Justice. Religion committee is chaired by the National Councils of Churches. Mobilization is also chaired by the Ministry of Gender, Health. Obviously, you know that it's chaired by the Health Ministry. Media marketing and branding is chaired by the Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs, and Tourism. Sports, interestingly, it is chaired by Ruth Zogar Wilson. So, having said that, I'd like to introduce to you today's press briefing our guest. So today's first briefing will be addressed by Honorable Saah H, Senator and Senator of Most Zogar County and presiding officer of the Liberian Senate. That we said this platform will be for the three government branches. So we are taking people from the three branches of government. It is our pleasure to have in our presence the presiding officer, our Saah Joseph, who will speak on the benefits in the country stand to reap from his recent trip to the United States of America. We also have Honorable Zogar Wilson, Minister of Youth and Sports. Minister Wilson will give details on initiatives undertaken by the Ministry of Youth and Sports, and to some extent expand on the standing of the national team, the Lone Star, relative to its participation in the World Cup qualifier matches. We also have our regular guest, the woman who is always on the field, Ruth Corker Collins, acting Public Works Minister. She will provide updates on ongoing projects being undertaken by the government of Liberia. We are entering the dry season. Everybody so much more concerned, and I see the people from across the bridge, people in the southeast, people in Lopa, and the red light mighty, everybody, the RIA route where some of us did, everybody so much more concerned. And that load, she is the one bearing that load. She will come and provide updates as to where we are as a government to the Liberian people. Also in attendance, this is the man, whenever you call on him, without looking through the paper, he's ready to give you the update. He is the Deputy Minister of Health and Chief Medical Officer of the Republic of Liberia, a wonderful statesman, Dr. Francis Ketteh, who will provide updates on the fight against the COVID-19 and other health-related issues. In attendance also is a very brilliant young statesman. We just invited him. He's a walkie-talkie gentleman. He is the acting executive director of the Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, on Rwanda, Dubai, a very fine son of Liberia, who will provide more detailed explanation on the President's address made at the ongoing climate change conference in Stockholm. He will further educate Liberians, especially so people in the rural community, what climate change is all about. Not to be held in contempt, I wanted to change the protocol around, but before I look back, I saw the acting presiding officer of the Senate, Saah Joseph, around me. So who am I? The least mistake I made, I will be called at the Capitol building to answer questions. And not to answer questions, I would like to invite to this pulpit Senator Saah Joseph, an acting presiding officer of the Liberian Senate, who will speak on the benefits and the country stands to reap from his recent trip to the United States of America.
Zogar County Senator Saah H. Now, Mom's podium.
Thank you very much.
To update the public about his recent visit to the United States and what came for the Liberians
Members of the press,
benefit from this visitation as well.
let me say thanks to the family of the Ministry of Information for for making sure that the national legislature is part of the activities, most especially press briefing like this. We will ask that this relationship continue. We continue to invite both houses so that we can interact with our citizens. I'm happy to be here. You hear the minister saying for him not to be charged for contempt. He used to write the contempt letter. So now he asking whether not being charged for contempt. But you know what contempt charges is and what we do there. But I'm happy to be here. I'm Senator Saah Joseph, Senator of Montserrat County. And presently I'm serving as chair on the executive and co-presiding officer. The Honorable Speaker Pro Tem is not here. I'm presently presiding over the Honorable Librarian Senate. I bring you greetings from the senators. They want me to express their thanks and appreciation to you all. I was directed to speak directly on the trip to the United States. My trip to the United States was a great trip, and it was a successful trip. By the grace of God, I had the opportunity to meet with 4 senators in the United States and 10 congressmen and women. And we discussed the relationship between Liberia, and I was able to explain what Liberia is. Some of them, when you talk about Liberia, they ask you, is it Libya? So you have to give more details about Liberia. Furthermore to that, I met about 6 city leaders who that I was able to present the case of Montserrat County in making sure that cities within Montserrat County will have sister-city relationship with cities in the United States. Let me inform you that by the grace of God, we have about 2 cities, mayors that will be visiting Nigeria earlier February. And after that, the city mayor of Broadville that have been approved with the city of Aurora in Colorado, where the city mayor of Broadville will be on my delegation so that we can go to the United States to sign that memorandum of understanding between the 2 cities. Montserrat County is very big, so we have to make sure we get other friends involved to help our county. When I entered the United States, I decided to narrow my visit based on specific needs and programs and projects that I can present to friends in the United States. The first thing was to focus on, President, as I speak to you, I'm undergoing construction of 3 vocational and technical institutions that are being constructed in Montserrat County. Let me announce to the people of Liberia, most especially the people of Montserrat County, that the first one that we started a year and a half ago, the vocational school in Somalia Drive, New Georgia Estate, has been completed. And 3,500 young persons will benefit from that program. What is left over is the roofing. Let me also inform you that the organizations I work with that recruited me in the refugee camp, the Johnson Baptist Missions in Oregon, have donated 500,000 United States dollars to roof the vocational school in New Georgia Estate and also complete the building. We're hoping by the grace of God that before the end of next year, that institution will be open. And the money, the 500,000, they will be in charge of the money. We have agreed that they will come and do the roofing. And the reason I chose that is that it's important that when they come, technical knowledge will be shared between Liberia, our capitals, and electricians in Liberia here will share with our friends in the United States. When I work with them, instead of them, I built 30 schools. All of those schools were roofed by the same team from the United States. So I'm trying to do that here now. That we encourage them, and the strategy for that is when they roof the building, that will not be the end of the roofing. They will always come back to give some technical assistance. So we try to attract them in that direction. And the Mount Barclay construction, we have gone 20% of the work in Mount Barclay. We want to intensify the work in Mount Barclay to make sure that before our roofing crew comes to Liberia, that building should be completed. And that building will benefit the total number of 7,300 students in Mount Barclay. Very big building, very expensive, but I can assure you we will try our possible best to make sure that we complete that building. We're focusing on, in Maserati, we're focusing on youth empowerment. One of our major concerns during the civil crisis, most of our young brothers were not part of the demobilization process. In that direction, we want to make sure that one of the major solutions for our youthful population is to give them a skill. And let me also inform you that those institutions will be registration free, school fee free. We will be more travel possible then as we have started to make sure that our partners in the United States will cover the cost of registrations and school fee so that we can keep the institution running. Let me announce to you that the 30 medical doctors from the United States, from Chicago, Illinois, from Tennessee, and from Montana are in country. They have arrived. We started effective work on Saturday. They were in Google Road. On Monday, they went to Todi district in Yang. They were there. And yesterday, they were in Broadville district number 17. Today, the team is in Ketteh, working, providing free medical services, cases that can be treated and need surgical care. The team in the United States have committed to make sure that they pay the bill for those individuals so that we can conduct surgery. Tomorrow, by the grace of God, the team will be in Chicken Soup Factory. The team is doing extremely well. What we did was to make the trip attractive for them. We in Liberia, we are responsible for transportation, lodging, feeding, and security. The team from the United States is responsible to provide the medication, the tickets, and the expertise. So we share the cost, and as a country, we will encourage more teams. And because of that, another team will be coming also in December to also provide free medical care for our people. Let me also announce to you that while in the United States as Senator of Maserati County, I was able to lobby with 4 different major international organizations in the United States. Gateway Medical Alliance from Washington State, Seattle. They have agreed they are really committed to continue to supply Liberia. And while in the United States, they were able to ship full continuous immunopresence. The next one, Project Save. Project Save is in California. They have also committed to work with Liberia. While in the US, they also were able to ship 244 containers. And we have the next one, the World Medical Alliance in Michigan, have committed to work with Liberia. And they have been working with us in the past. We were able to renew that relationship to keep it going. Project Q in Colorado have said, one of the biggest medical organizations in the United States, that they will work with Liberia and supply Liberia with supplies and equipment. Not just that, they will come to Liberia here and train our doctors and our nurses. Let me tell you the importance of our doctors and nurses. We have Liberia have some of the most qualified and best doctors in the world. While in the US, I learned that 2 years ago, a request was made for Liberian nurses and doctors to go in the United States and sign a contract, a 2-year contract. That program did not materialize. Upon the departure of my team, I will be working with the Ministry of Health so we can renew that commitment, so that we can give opportunities to our nurses and doctors so they can also travel and be able to learn other skills. When they are getting the opportunity to work in those areas, they will learn how to use those equipments. And when they come back, they will provide those business services for us. I can assure you that we'll do all we can to continue to support the health sector. Let me at this time give a special thanks and appreciation to the Ministry of Health, especially Dr. Ketteh. His office have been cooperating with me as Senator of the country. All of the containers that have been coming to Liberia that are shipped were always given 100% duty-free. Dr. Ketteh, on behalf of the people of Liberia, we want to thank you for your effort. We still have more coming, and we appreciate that we speed up the documentation so that sometimes when they continue delay at the port, you have to pay extra charges. So we appreciate that we cooperate so that we go very fast in approving our duty-free document. We will continue to support the health sector. We will continue to do all we can. We will not just concentrate in Mosarara content. 10 of those containers that were shipped, the end of this week, one of those containers will be sent to City Government Hospital in Bon County. This weekend, I'm going to be in Bon County to train over City Government container, 144 container. And then by next week, also during the weekend, we will also be taking one container to the hospital that got burned in Ketteh. We also have 144 containers for them. And I can say to you, we will continue to work together and continue to bring the changes that we decided to bring. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, I want to say thank you, Honorable Minister, for giving me the opportunity to address this body. I will appreciate, if you don't want to be charged for content, please allow me, if there's any question for me, please allow me to answer them so I can go to perform my legislative function. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Saah H. So you have questions for Honorable Wilson, the Chairman Executive. Please come in the queue. If you're not in the queue, you will not be accepted. Please come in the queue, introduce yourself, and ask one question relative to the subject of the discussion.
Thank you very much, Honorable Saah H. Thank you for coming. My name is Strogon Plummer, and I report for Fabric FN and TV. Thank you for the great initiative, but many critics believe that your initiative is intended to create a scene of campaigning up to 2023. You know, that you are going back to election. This is just for campaign purpose. What would you say to them? And that, secondly, one question for A and B.
Thank you.
So let me answer that. Listen, 2013, when I brought in 10 ambulances to this country, was it because of election? When I was driving the ambulance as an ambulance driver during the Ebola crisis, was it about election? No, it was never about election. It was about providing the business services for our people. We will continue to work in the interest of our people. If it is about election, I will wait for campaign period. But don't forget, I've already been elected by the people of Montserrat County. And part of what I'm doing is those things that we promise the people. We are only delivering as a government. Thank you.
Okay, my name is Barclay Kale and I'm for you talk about three major projects. I'd like to know the expenditure cost of the projects, how much are we talking about, and then the source of the particular one, the three major projects you talk about. And I'd just like you to, I just want to know as to whether your guest across Liberia, whether or not it meets the consensus of some of the police neighborhood counties.
Yes, the three major projects, one is in Mount Barclay, Somalia Drive, and one will be in district number 17. Behind Ridge, there's a town there called Mimitan. We purchased 50 acres of land already. We want to build a vocational and technical institution there. We want to build dormitories as well there. So what we have done is to do it one at a time. We have completed the one in New Jersey. Our next focus is the one in Mount Barclay. When we should have gone 50%, then we will do the groundbreaking ceremony for the one in Brownsville. Yes, my colleagues, don't forget my position as chair and executive. I coordinate with all senators. So what I have been doing, my goal is not just about Saah Joseph, it's also to support my colleagues. So in the past, what I have been doing is basically turning containers over to the senators, and then they take it into the counties. So recent time I was in Lofa, we did distribution. I've been in Bond County, I've been in Grand Basso, I even sent container in Maryland, Grand Judah. So it's not strange. My police, we are cooperating. As my position as chair and executive is to coordinate with my colleagues to move our country forward.
Thank you very much, Senator. My name is Arthur B.A. and I report for American Television. And thank you very much for your initiative and for the work you do for our country. But don't you think, Senator, it would be quite more good and better if only if your initiative, your heart desire for Liberia, for the health sector, could be turned in this another form as a government image, in a sense that all of these be turned to the Ministry of Health, they make determination as to what direction all of your intervention or all of these different contingents and distribution of different things being done, because they are the technician, they understand technically where we fall short in terms of the health sector, where we need them. I don't know what informing your decision in terms of how you go about distributing to the various countries or just for political image.
Well, let me say this to you. What we have been doing is in consultation with the Ministry of Health. Ministry of Health, first of all, have to give me duty free to clear any containers. Even the medical doctors that came in the country, official communication was written to Ministry of Health, and the Ministry of Health turned us to the county health team. The county health team turned us over to the district health team. So we are in coordination with them. There's no way we can do something different. We are to tell you that we're in consultation with them. When I visited Colorado, one of the biggest health organizations, Project Q, was connected to Ministry of Health directly. And next year, Ministry of Health will be receiving an invitation for Project Q to go and visit them. And Ministry of Health just paid for 3 containers from Project Q. They ship it, they pay for shipping costs. So I made an introduction and tell them you can work with the Ministry of Health. They were able to coordinate, and Ministry of Health committed themselves, and they were able to fulfill that commitment by paying the cost of 3 40-footer containers that are on the way. As I speak to you, discussions are ongoing at the ministry on how they're going to do that distributions of what they have received or what they're going to receive. So we are coordinating. Don't forget, I'm the former chairman on health. So I definitely know my function as a senator.
Who's over the last question? Good afternoon, Senator Saah Joseph. I'm Jerry Secretary. I'm good for me and I'm real news agency. Thanks so much for your deliberation. You said that active markets in Korea. What are some specific sicknesses have they come to you? And how long will you be in the country?
They will be in country for consecutive weeks, 2 weeks, and they will be doing a general medical care. That's what they are doing. And the good thing is that we have local doctors working with them. We also have student doctors as well working along with them. Part of that is to share knowledge and to see how best they can see what they're doing. Before the end of this week, they'll be visiting the Dr. Medical School to see what they are doing there and what is needed there and how can they help. So when we bring in those medical teams, not just about coming to work or to share knowledge with our local team in Liberia. Before I take my seat, let me not forget, let me say thanks to the good people, the Liberian community in the U.S. for giving me some of the network contacts while in the United States. Let me announce to you that those concerns that have been raised by student community asking for buses, like the University of Liberia and other private universities, government schools, we have 35 school buses that were donated, 70 seated. We are presently discussing with Firestone so they can help us to shape those 35 school buses so they can serve our people, most especially our students. Thank you so much. And I wish I have more time. I will appreciate coming back here in the future. God bless you.
Thank you, Honorable Wilson. You can have a wonderful day.
So before our senator leaves, we'd like to thank the senator for coming. The senator came in 3 capacities. He's a senator of Monserrat County, he's the chair, non-executive, and the presiding officer of the Liberian Senate. And senator, we'd like to extend our thanks and appreciation to you for coming. We also want to ask you that you invite, that you inform your colleagues at the legislature that this platform is for the Liberian people. The platform is given to all of you, irrespective of your political affiliations, that you come and explain your legislative program to the Liberian people. So we thank you. We want to thank you for coming, and we hope that the message you gave to the Liberian people will resonate well and be taken by the other people. Like I said, you can go and tell your colleagues who are in different political parties to come and explain the legislative programs to the Liberian people. Without much ado, I'd like to, before the senator leaves, I'd like to invite to this podium a distinguished statesman whom my late brother would have loved to see before dying. In the sport arena, my late brother used to like hearing the name of Zogar Wilson, Oliver McCall, and our President George Weah. May so rest in peace, my late brother. Zogar Wilson, I know my little brother through me will be happy to hear your voice when he is live. And Zogar Wilson, Youth and Sports Minister, will give a detailed initiative undertaken by his ministry, the Youth and Sports, and to some extent expand on the standing of the national team, the proud Liberia, the Lone Star forever, relative to its participation in the World Cup qualifier matches. I'd like to invite to this platform Minister Zogar Wilson to speak to the Liberian people.
Thank you so much, former Deputy Minister Ruth Corker. Distinguished platform guests, members of the Fourth Estate, the Ministry of Information family, let me extend our thanks and appreciation for inviting us here today to speak with the Liberian people on a wide range of issues regarding the Ministry of Youth and Sports, the largest constituent ministry in the government of the Republic of Liberia, given the fact that 65% of our population constitute young people. I will be speaking to you today on youth development and the Ministry of Youth and Sports, TVET, and of course, sports. I will start off by speaking about the sports department, given the fact that we've been in the news of late, and it's important that we address this issue. And before I go deep into it, I'd like to congratulate our deaf team that returned from Gambia yesterday. They participated in a Six-Nation tournament. They came second. We came home with the higher goal scorer, the MVP of the tournament, as well as a cash prize of $1,596. We want to congratulate them in this public manner. And they went away and they came back with something. The SLE Sports Complex has been in the news of late. And I'd like to, in this public manner, say to the Liberian people, as the Minister of Youth and Sports, I take full responsibility for all that transpired under my watch. But it's important that we provide some clarification to our people so they understand the context into which or from which things have been attacked. Let's just say that I played this game at the highest level in this country. I played for Boro, I played for the national team alongside. And for anybody here in the press or otherwise to think that I found pleasure into our soccer field being done by CAF, I guess you live on another planet. This is a stain on my legacy as the Minister of Youth and Sports. A guy who played this game, a guy who has passion for this game. I don't find pleasure in it. And I'm confident and sure that the President himself does not find comfort in this. Nobody wants their feet to be banned. And it will please you to note that Liberia is just not the only country. There are 36 other countries that face the same situation with Liberia. The simple fact that this new rule for CAF was put in place in 2015. Our soccer fields were built way back 35 years ago. In 2019, 2020, so I say, as CAF was about to implement their rules for the game, the entire world was affected. So, government has competing priorities. The question we ask ourselves, would it have been a good thing for the government of Liberia to invest into preparing the SKD amidst this pandemic that affected the entire world? What would the pundits have said if the government had done that? I can just surmise they would have said people are dying from COVID-19. Instead of the government finding money to buy medicine and support the health sector, they are doing something on the STD school. For half year, with the 161,000 United States dollars given to the Ministry of Youth and Sports to meet up with those requirements that we agree with CAF on May 19 on a Zoom meeting that we would have met for them to qualify our field. I can say here today confidently, we did meet them. And if you go to the SKD Sports Complex, don't just look at the playing field. Go under the stadium and see what we have done there. And many people can see it because it's not visible to you. You will appreciate the 61,000 given by this government as compared to the 18 million for 2014 to 2016 given by the previous government, the Chinese government. 18 million. Go and see what 61,000 have done. We don't come here to make excuses. We take full responsibility. But I can assure you, the SKD Sports Complex will meet up with this challenge. The fact that the government of Liberia has a portion appropriated $1,750,000 United States dollars towards the SKD Sports Complex for artificial turf and the renovation, given the fact that the government has paid over $500,000 United States dollars for bucket seats. I can assure you, in the next couple of months, you will see a different Samuel Kanyando Sports Complex, and I can guarantee the people that Liberia will be back and will be ready to play our international game. I want to thank our team at the Ministry of Youth and Sports, our casual workers, our administrators, our colleagues from the Ministry of Health, the Ministry of Public Works, the Ministry of Agriculture, Commerce, LPRC, NPA, and some private institutions who helped us, the GSA. I said, thank you so much. We did a good job, in my view. It's unfortunate that in the House of CAF, our football field is not playable. We're not arguing that. Many of you saw other football fields that declared. You can look at them, look at the field in Masoko, look at the field in Nigeria, compare with SKD, and make your own judgment. Also, the sports side, tomorrow, the national up-country basketball tournament, that is a deliverable of the Ministry of Youth and Sports, vis-a-vis government of Liberia, will commence in Ghana. We got 12 institutions that will be participating in the Haram Agwan competition. Mr. Magan was a Pisco that came to Liberia in the 1970s, and he started the up-country basketball. And since then, we have continued to make sure that every year a legacy remains. The ambassador of the United States will be our keynote speaker. Mr. McGonagall is in the country to be a part of the celebration. So we are inviting you all who can make it to Ghana to join us in Ghana. I'll be leaving from here today after the press conference. I'll be headed to Ghana to make sure that we can participate into the competition. You all know that the National Council Sports League starts December 11th. The official opening ceremony will be in Agidi County. So we look forward to a splendid and more colorful opening of the National Council Meet. We have 5 days of play this year. We have football, kickball, athletics, volleyball, and basketball. So we look forward again to a new dimension into the National County Sports League. That being said, sports side, let me now go into youth development. In 2016, the government of Liberia signed a financing agreement with the World Bank for the project of the Youth Opportunities Project YOP. It was a 5-year project. The previous government signed, and in 2018, when we took over, this project was at 47% in implementation. As of September 30th this year, that project was at 100% in implementation, meaning we met our mark. The project ended successfully. I'd like to provide you some statistics so you have it, so you know all those that benefited from the project. The project has basically three components. But what are the three components? We talk about the basic one. We want to empower the youth, the young people so much. And this project was only implemented by the Ministry of Youth and Sports and the Liberia Agency for Community Empowerment Leads. And so, one component of the project was the pre-employment social support, we call PES. This component was to prepare 2,000 Liberian youth between the ages of 15 to 17 for job readiness skills. 2,000 of them. The next component was the small business social support. That is a component that should empower small businesses through the provision of grant to them. That component will empower 3,000 of our young people. And the first two components were basically for Zogar County. The last component that used to be called the productive public works, but we changed the name to class, meaning community, livelihood, and agricultural support. And that component will benefit 10,000 Liberian youth in all 15 political subdivisions. They were to engage in communal farming in a group of 28, and they were to receive labor subsidies in the amount of $350 United States dollars. This project was being financed by the World Bank and the Swedish government. 3.5 million of this, the 13.5 million came from the Swedish government in the form of grant. So as of September 30th, the project was able to benefit 14,028 youth through all the length and breadth of this country. The class component benefited 10,638, exceeded its number, of 50 counties. The small business social support benefited 2,880 young people who are in the rank of refugees engaging small businesses. And then the PES, that benefited 2,000, benefited 520. The reason why these numbers drop for the last two components is due to COVID. So we have total beneficiary of this project, 40,028. There were a total of 43 districts benefited throughout the country. So that is for York. York has ended, and these are the young Liberians who have benefited. But as York was concluded in 2009, we engaged with the World Bank again for a new youth project to benefit our young people, to supplement government's efforts. And in September of this year, we signed a financing agreement with the World Bank for this new project. It's called Realize. Realize is the acronym for the recovery of economic activity for Liberia informal sector employment. Realize is the acronym. This project, Realize, we have 19,000 beneficiaries in Monrovia and its environment. This project was crafted as a means of COVID intervention because COVID impacted Zogar County for the most. And it impacted so many people, including our vulnerable and small businesses. That is why one component of this project will benefit 4,000 persons engaged in small businesses or will be able to start their small business. 4,000 of them. The other 15,000 will be young people who will be engaged in various community activities in and around Zogar County. They will be engaged in work in various communities similar to what was being done on the beaches and waterways. So there are 19,000 young people. This project became effective on October 1, and we have begun to put together all of our team to make sure that this month we begin recruitment of the first 2,500 of them to start to benefit before the year ends. So this program will be transparent as always. We identify 25 communities to be identified in the Monrovia area and its environs. We make publicity and will be fair for our young people to come and benefit from this program. So realize it's our new program that will be coming up soon. The next program we want to talk about is youth entrepreneurship and empowerment program. Employment program. This is a project funded by the African Development Bank in the amount of $2.5 million. This program will end in December, and this program was geared towards job readiness skills, capacity building, and entrepreneurship. There were 3 institutions that were selected as beneficiary institutions. The University of Liberia for job readiness, the Zogar Wilson Institute for capacity building, and the Nima County Community College for entrepreneurship. Today, we can report that under the Zogar Wilson Institute, there were 3 courses curricula that were developed in the area of catering, poultry, and plumbing. And young people at the institute, at Zogar Wilson Institute, benefited immensely from these curricular development. We also designed and rolled out a competency-based educational training, and we trained 10 senior managers and 15 TVET lecturers into this training. There were 150 interns placed in various institutions from BWR, and we also completed a trade consulting under this youth empowerment program. For the University of Liberia, there were 2,478 students who benefited from job readiness services. 53 managers and lecturers at the University of Liberia benefited from TOT training in job readiness. There were 500 graduate seniors placed internship at the University of Liberia at various institutions, and another 150 graduate seniors placed for internship as well at the University of Liberia. At the Nima County Community College, we have introduced entrepreneurship as a 1-credit course at the Nima County Community College, because many of our folks go to teach that institution, and when they graduate, they all want to get employment in government. Government cannot be fully employed. So entrepreneurship is a good thing to do. Our young people to learn how to become an entrepreneur, establish their own businesses. So that's why we targeted Nima County College to teach entrepreneurship at the college. We also established an entrepreneurship center at the Nima County Community College, fully furnished with computers, furnished what have you, as an entrepreneurship center. We also developed business plan for 300 of the beneficiaries there. There was a business plan competition launched, and we had 11 winners. We also trained business development service providers. 50 of them were trained in accounting. SME, small and medium enterprises, we trained 30 persons on these programs, and then 100 persons in the macro, small, and medium enterprises were also trained at the Department of Community College on yeah. And finally, for TDEC, you all know the European Union, we have 20 million individual you can expose the education that targeted 8 beneficial institutions, and our project is doing well. There will be production unit established, some of them. For instance, the LGC, we have a production unit in work where our students will be able to compete in other businesses, providing group furniture. We went out with fully furnished, we modernized equipment, we modernized our TDEC institution as well. We also have support from the French government. And President, we have visited France. Benefits have begun to come to this country. And the IECD, International NGO for France, is here as well with 10 million. They have targeted for institutions, LIC, BWI, Tumutu, BDOTC, from the U.S. book and beneficiary. In fact, beginning December, IECD through UNIDO, they will begin to construct a mini hotel at the Exeter Coast Complex that will be used. We see that construction is part of what we are getting from the French government. So we talk to let them know, and I said last time, I slipped one of the program that the president visit brought is the lead. That is from Mexico, the Liberia Employment Entrepreneurship Program. This program is jointly sponsored, supported, implemented by the Ministry of Youth and Sports and the Mexico. I'm going to give you a quick update on that. I'm not going to go into detail because my colleagues have to come and take questions from you. So today, honestly, we have youth accessing employment services. We have 6,436 for young people have benefited from that service. Youth participating in sports and life skills. We have 185 young people benefiting from that. Youth participating in the National Youth Services and youth on the job training. We have 357 benefiting so far. We got youth qualified to access credit, small businesses. We got 427. We got youth accessing IT technology, 155. So today, under the LEAD program, we got 8,336 young people benefiting as we speak. And this program is to target 11,000 young people in Glenville, Magidi, and Oswego County. So today, we are at 76. Implementation of this program. I want to thank you for listening. That we are seeing light at the end of the tunnel. The government of Liberia, we have made a case that this project is needed to continue because it benefits our slum dwellers, our last country brothers and sisters, and the government has a portion $1 million in the 2022 budget for building the waterway. Although we change the need, it will not be building the waterway, but you'll be doing similar project. Good news for you all. We have $1 million in the budget now to continue this progress, but on a different way. Thank you so much.
The voice of Youth and Sport Minister D. Zogar Wilson.
So we like to thank the youth and sport ministers, Zogar Wilson, and I think we have to talk to the minister proper that he will give us credit to making our regular guests because this platform, part of the people that listen to it, you will have a youth population that listen to us from India. But as you are speaking, the Senator of Monterey County, the chairperson on the executive, and the presiding officer were just telling me that I would have loved to also sit and listen to all the presenters because this is why they love to hear at the Liberian Senate the programs and policies that they implement for the Liberian government. So he said he will not be able to listen to everybody, but while going on his way, he will listen to everybody in the car and he will take down his points and he will take room to the protest and the rest of the colleagues that this platform is widely listened to because if government officials come here and present the policies and programs to the Liberian people, so they will take key notes from this program. So, Saah H, Joseph, I'd like to thank you as you leave. So, permit me to allow me to leave. And he asked me that he will listen to all of you. So, before Honorable Zogar Wilson is also about to go, I know all of the guests, they have one way or the other. When we invited them, they told us that they have pressing issues and they want to attend. And Zogar Wilson had maybe just one part of attending. And we have the public works minister coming up to do a presentation. Okay, so we take 4 questions for the youth and school minister, and then he leaves. 4 questions. Come there.
Thank you, Minister. Please get in the queue and follow the instructions of the Minister. 4 questions. Please introduce yourself. Please introduce yourself. So, Minister, my name is Arthur B.A. and I report on television. I listened to you very well, given the different statistics of thousands and different hundreds of young people being developed or engaged. On my record, I may be wrong, but Liberia's population is a little over 4 million, 4 million people. And of that number, almost 60% or over comprised of young people. Since you took over, look at the government agenda, centralized spendings. What is the specific target in terms of youth development that you are engaging with different development partners, your own initiative, your own investments, and all of that, taking all of that into consideration to see how much in terms of your target you want to achieve, or you want to achieve in developing young people in job creation, for the job market, and for the whole team modernization in terms of the institution. I'd like to get that clear because I don't understand the statistics as to what you do, why you're doing it.
Well, I guess the statistics is very clear. It was clear that this program targeted 15,000 young people. The previous government signed this contract in 2016, like I said. We came and took it over and the Senate presenting the legislation. At the end of the term of the program, 14,028 young people benefit. That is why it is. Now, there are so many interventions for young people, and in due course, I can provide you a full statistics on that because I had a meeting, a youth sector committee meeting 2 weeks ago with all our development partners and asked them that we send them a form to give us specific interventions they are engaged into so we know how many young people are being impacted, both the government and our development partners. For instance, you say the youth and school EDC. We are partnering to empower 22,000 young people in Monterey, Lofas, and Bucknell. Now, that's a statistic that you need to know, right? Other partners are doing similar work, but as a ministry, we need to harmonize everything that they are doing so we're able to present to the president to say, look, this is how much impact is it going on and then taking place between our development partners and the government of Nigeria. to have a clear picture. So that full statistics I will present to you all in due course. But I was speaking about OP. That project was to benefit 15,000 young people when it was signed. And the close is on the top of 30, 14,000 young persons were beneficiaries.
Thank you, Minister. So we take the last two questions, then we can respond.
Good afternoon. My name is Emmanuel. I report for 291.9 FM and Team Online Team. My attention has been drawn particularly about the somewhat kind of sports content. According to you, you play the game, you know how important the game is, and you know the percentage, how important it is to the game. Now, the government of Nigeria, through the Ministry of Youth Sports, were they waiting for the ban before we observe the aggressive renovation process that is ongoing? That's my question.
Thank you, Minister. My name is Strobel. Now I'm a report for Fabric FM and TV. There are reports of the construction of new stadiums within the country. Can you bring us up to speed about that? And secondly,
thank you. Please come to the last question.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson. My name is Philip. I'm just interested in know we have the SKD and ATS. Now that ATM is SKD is down, why is the Ministry of doing to ensure that we can play our game at ATS?
Thank you. So I'll start from the bottom to the top. The ATS does not meet the requirement for Class A soccer games sanctioned by CAF and FIFA. The only game the ATS can play are those Class B games. And let me also inform you, maybe you don't know, Sevenue played for games here a couple of weeks ago at the ATS. They were CAF games, and the ATS qualified for the Class B game. Sevenue also banned a CAF. They were here to play that game. Sevenue played Guinea here, Sevenue played Gambia. Did you all know that? Good. So just to tell you that the country in this situation. So the ATS is not qualified for the kind of game, for the World Cup, African Cup. The ATS will not qualify for that. On the second question, the question about reports of new facility being constructed. I'm not aware of any new facility being constructed right now in the country. So if you can do your research better, and let me know, then I can follow up. As we speak, I'm not aware of the information. Now, the first person, the second guy said, why did the government wait until you died before we started working? Government did not wait until they died. We received the information in 2020 that CAF was going to send a team to meet. The information we received was not to come and do the inspection. They said CAF was coming, sending a team to meet the football authority to discuss the new regulations, the new requirements, and they sent us the list of requirements. But for that list of requirements, we started doing some work under the stadium, in the dressing room, in the referee room, and back of the room. Now, unfortunately, all that we did was not pleasing to them, because basically we're using our own technicians for the Ministry of Youth Sports, our electricians, our carpenters, our masons to do the work, but they were not pleased with our work. So that's how we reverted to using professional business firm to continue to do the work on that field at the complex. That football field, you all know, remains a challenge. Even before CAF came up, you all will attest. There were many games played on our field. When our field was buried, you saw people starting, you saw it in the sun. That soil is a tough to do because the area is swampy. Therefore, we made a decision that the best solution is to put artificial turf on the field. What we tried to do was, look, can we work on the field so that we don't play our away game, also a home game, also Liberia? They totally had not started. We have time to work on the field. Any rational administrator will prefer good load football. You know there are so many advantages playing your game home than playing away. So we thought we could work on the field and at least play our home game at home. On else, if that is a thought process, we will have made a decision say, you know what I mean, we are done with this, we'll play our game also our material, let's get work on the field. But that was our thought process. Because we know what it is to play your home game at home. In the critical World Cup qualifier. Unfortunately, we did not work up. We take responsibility. Let's look forward. Let's move ahead. Now we have fun now. Let's do happiness. Thank you all, and God bless you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Wilson. And if we have another question, the Deputy Minister for TZ is here and will answer the question as we go on the different go to this box. So it is important that we let the Liberian people know that we have so much more information out there and we have to let it out. I'd like to invite to this platform, this podium, the woman who is responsible for the road network in our country. Very effective, having sleepless nights, making sure that as we enter the dry season, that all the bad areas we talked about be looked at. So I'd like to invite to this platform, this program, the Acting Public Works Minister, Ruth Corker Collins, for some updates.
First, platform guests in the information ministry family, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Today, like Minister just said, we're basically giving updates on the happenings around the country for the Ministry of Public Works activities. So to begin with, we'll start with the RIA highway, of which we got close interest to give you updates. I extend my compliments and wish to update you on the happenings of the RIA Lagos International Airport. As you are aware, the Ministry of Public Works established a right-of-way of 150 feet, 75 left and 75 right, for the center of the existing I have a pretty statement. The actual owners have plotted the actual numbers of owners from the stated on the RIA highway are 113 persons. Property owners are 113. In the tune of $629,126.31, which constitutes 84% of those people that own the RIA highway that receive payment. The actual RAP implementation expenses of budget is around 2% of that cost. Then the actual owners paying compensation are 14 cooperative owners, which is 9,000. Rejected was in February 28, which is 3% of that cost. The actual number of payment withheld due to ownership issues after adjustment in implementation costs and direct compensation of the funds are 159%, which is around 75,000, which constitutes 10% of that payment. But recently, we have been having some issues. From the beginning, we told our people that on our highway that we were first dealing with the first 62 feet because that was a carriage way. But then we have worked with other utilities, other institutions, the LEC, the water and sewer, that we have to create access for the channels, so we have to actually go to our first plan, which is 150 feet, which is like 75 feet. With that, we have to make an additional payment, and we encourage everybody to actually foster the case to the Ministry of Public Works so that we can, because we just said that we have people who have payment withheld because of ownership issue. It's about 159 persons who want to give you a timeline to make follow up with your payment because we want to attach a timeline to that. We need to move ahead with this project, so we have to regularize the issue that you have with your property so we can close this chapter. The money is there. You need to submit all your paperwork so that we can conclude with this process. So we gave you a timeline between now to February to finalize your issue because we need to close this chapter. So I want to give a quick update on the executive mansion that we can see basically from the press that we have done significant progress have been made at the executive mansion. Based on our last presentation, we said that a lot of teams are there and the work is actually progressing actively. I guess we'll give that update. So works to be implemented in this dry season are listed below. We have the whole estate of Great Lake in Margini County. These are roads that we have already completed the tendering process for. And it's at the PCC awaiting no objection to conclude with the process of the contracting. So we have Joe Estate of Great Lake in Margini County. We have July to Zogar Wilson in Lima County. We have Green to Balala in Lima County. We have Folekule to Fave in Bon County. We have Bonjoman to Kweme in Lofa County. We have Buchanan to RTR, Bambasa to Riverside County. We have Second Pier to Tapeta, of which we have just did some major intervention and now it's accessible to Tapeta Hospital. I will say thank you to the County that we will focus for providing us with the equipment to do that intervention. We also want to make some clarification that for Tapeta to Zeta in Lima County, this project will also be implemented in the dry season. We have Jago to Kutuke, we have Saah to Konya, Konya to Bonjoman, Bonjoman to Foya. These are maintenance for the road to become flat with the sound pavement that we make this plan to the press. This is state of rehabilitation and maintenance for the corridor to become private as we await the actual pavement process. We have Broadvale to Compass Junction. We have 15 gates, Central Streets, Lipa Asset Road, and then Harcourt to Calicut. We have Harcourt Junction to Kabbalah Custom in Maryland County. We have Harbour Junction to Kabbalah Custom in Murray County as well. We have Clay Junction to Gold Waterside. We have the Ketteh Community College Bridge. We have Jogota to Kwai to College Bridge. In Babylon County, we have Greenfield City rehabilitation of the repair of the bridge. So these are projects that we hope to actually get started with very soon. So to continue, we have some publication to be made for the Ruth Corker Bridge, so the Seaport Bridge, on which we are looking at for rehabilitation. We are there doing some maintenance, and we noticed that it's not really working well. We keep spending money, so we have another approach on which we are looking at closely. But we have had since meeting with the finance minister and the financing institution to see how best we can finance that corridor, because we want to do it once and for all. We also want to talk about Saah to Odo Town to CV Hospital. We also need to do that publication because we are preparing for tendering for that corridor as well. Proposal to Ketteh as well. So these are projects that are clearly publication for tendering process. Like I said earlier on, second period to Ketteh, we have already completed with the technical proposals, both the consulting and the contractor, and we are waiting for the bid, no objection for a award of contracts. We already vetted the contractors for both the contractor, the contractor and the consultant, which is around 61 kilometers from second to Ketteh. So we are clearly, we are clearly to progress after the bank's approval. We also have signed a 200 kilometer contract from Bishop to Ketteh. The Ministry of Power has already signed a contract with Chico, and the project is to be started very, very soon after they receive the first payment. Upgrade on the RI highway is visible. We have started massive clearance. The clearance that we said throughout that we are working on both fronts, it continues. We already spoke about that area junction, the popular factory of which the contractor has started already barricades. We need to actually reinforce, or we need to enforce the security measures, because the contractors have been complaining that several things have been happening, but the contract is already so we take kilometers around 41 kilometers, and we are pushing the contractor to have up to 13 kilometers paved this dry season. That also goes from Delta to Yekepa. We are already in touch with the contractor as we speak, for team of technicians are in the field, and they are monitoring the progress of work being made. So we also talk about Banga to Saah, of which we all know that we have our last appearance. We said that we will engage the work in two sections. We'll start from the lower side and the Bone County side. As we speak, the contractor has started from the lower side of the bridge works, and will continue to the front of the work. So in total, we want to give a quick update on the total rehabilitation roads that have been completed is about 242.86 kilometers. The road rehabilitation ongoing right now. Over the period completed is 34.8 kilometers before we are about to start the new one. So the erected maintenance completed is 214.8 kilometers. And we also got the ongoing of 34 also. So in total, in broad counties, those that we have ongoing or interventions, we have the counties in local county, we have 64.75 kilometers ongoing works, we have in Lima County, and 6.68 kilometers ongoing work. In Grand Kia County, we have 138.25 kilometers. We have one county, 107.8. We have River G, it is 6.25 kilometers. we have in Maryland 34.18, the new branch there, we have 38.85. Total of 526.71 kilometers. These are ongoing works. And like we said, the last season, the first project that was mentioned, a project that we are about to get started and we increase the numbers. So the paper audit, we will actually engage. This time around, we want to be having a massive engagement with the youth, of which we have already designed a program for the CEOs, the community-based organization, of which we are doing per kilometer in Montserrat County will cover 150 kilometers, of which we will assign 10 CBOs, and each CBOs is around 15 persons. So in total in Montserrat County, it will be 160. It will be 10 times 16, which will be 160 youth will benefit in Montserrat County. In one county, we have 125 kilometers. There's 9 CBOs and 16. We have Lima County. So on the 4th kilometer, we have in Maigiri, we have 80 kilometers. Grand Bassa, we have 40. Only we have 38. Cape Mount, we have 31. Bakolo, we have 35. Sando, we have 45. Sando, we have 75. Grand Gile, we have 80. River G, we have 48. Grand Crew County, we have 65. And Riverside County, we have 60. So all the numbers we have just got, a total of kilometers that we will complete or that we will work along with. The CBOs will actually be responsible to the site brushing, to the drainage clearing, to the cleaning of the side walls and all the works that require that they take out to between the road. So in total, we have 68 CBOs times 16 because each CBO is times 16. So we have 963 CBOs kilometers that will benefit from the CBOs. So we have started the preparation, and as we speak, the teams are in the field doing the assessment for recruitment. So in this slide, and I encourage our press. Actually, sometimes you ask questions on things that we did not talk about. I know you asked to talk about the one pass reach, of which we know the assessment is still ongoing, so I will ask you all of that. Thank you so much.
Voice of Acting Follow-up Minister Ruth
Corker
Collins providing updates on road connectivities.
So while our technicians are working on the microphone, you will hear more of this as we go along, as we enter the dry season. The Minister of Public Works has shown us that every week should be here to update the library. Even when our one-foot road is paved, she'll come and tell the library. So those of us who always have the tendencies of talking about things that we don't know, we should pay attention in this and give the opportunity to those who are taking the responsibility to perform. I don't know whether she can sleep because I remember when I was in local by 2 a.m. I called her and she said I'll be on radio tomorrow to explain to the library. Minister, we want to thank you so much. I don't worry. At this time, we'd like to invite to this platform, to this podium, another statement. Who had sleep? And by the time you call him on phone, he is prepared to give the stats. The data invite Dr. Minister and the Chief Minister to provide some updates on the fight against the COVID-19 and some health-related issues. Dr. Ketteh.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon to all. And again, I want to pay my respect to our hardworking acting Minister of Public Works. I've seen her a couple of times on the roads in the lot. So thank you so much for the work you are doing. the Deputy Minister for Information, Director, and other colleagues, those especially members of the Cook Estate, and the people of Nigeria. I quickly want to give you an update on where we are as a country as it relates to COVID, a few little things that we are doing in the Ministry of Health. So quickly, where are we as of November 2nd? That was yesterday. Yesterday we had a 0 new case. So now our total cumulative 5,815. Those recovered 5,525. Presently in the country we have 3 active cases, and in terms of death, we have lost 287 persons. So in terms of the various counties, we have 2 counties in response as we speak. And those counties are Maryland and Monserrate. In response meaning there is an active case in that county. On countdown, we have 1 county now that has gone 11 days, and that's 1 county, and we have 12 counties that are in preparedness. What that means, we have not identified an active case in that or confirmed a case in those counties. So there are 12 counties. Let me quickly tell us where we have come from, and then probably we will appreciate where we all have come. So if you remember in May, the month of May, we had 103 confirmed cases. The month of June, we basically quadrupled that, or even you can multiply on a trajectory level. We had in June 2,094 confirmed cases. In July, we dropped that down to 1,155. In August, we dropped it to 256. September, 71. And this past October, 16 cases. What this is shown is that, yes, indeed, we are all working together. We all should not be under the illusion that there is no COVID in Liberia. In terms of death, in May we have 1 death, in June 43, in July we lost 90 persons, August 64, September 3, and in October we lost 1 person. So this is going to give you an idea where we find ourselves as a country and what we are all doing together to make sure that we contain this dreadful disease. So what is the most appropriate thing that we all need to do? As I speak this to you now, last week, no, as of yesterday, we have had 391,197 persons vaccinated. Of the number, those that are fully vaccinated, 374,615 fully vaccinated. Those vaccinated and fully vaccinated, the reason is that we have the AstraZeneca and we have the J&J. So whenever you take the J&J, you are fully vaccinated. If you are taking the AstraZeneca, you need additional jab in order to be fully vaccinated. In terms of the quantity of vaccine we have in country, for the J&J we have 315,120, and for the AstraZeneca we have 96,000 in country. We also anticipate to receive some vaccine as of today. We anticipate to receive 273,600 doses of the J&J, and this is from the World Bank funding that was given to the government to procure additional vaccine for us. We also anticipate 168,000 by December or early January J&J, and that is coming from the United States government. We also anticipate in December 91,845 doses of the Pfizer from the US government. So, where are we in terms of meeting our target? As of December 31st, we need to vaccinate 1.8 million Liberians in order to make sure that we reach the target of 40% of those that need to be vaccinated as we move towards herd immunity. In order for a country to reach to herd immunity, you have to have about 70% of your targeted population being vaccinated. Our targeted population is about 3.5 million. And so we still have a long way to go. Remember, we are entering the Christmas season. There will be many persons coming to Liberia. While it is true that at the airport, we have the system to do immediate testing, and with internet means giving people their results, the probability of someone coming in because the virus has not reached its incubation state. It could be in the process of incubation, and the sensitivity may not come forth. So that person will come out and they may have the disease. The only way we can prevent the general public is vaccination. So that is one way we are all setting that even if we were to be exposed by whomever that might have incubated the disease and was not detected during testing, your probability of your life going will almost be negligible. And so it is prudent that everyone please take your vaccine. To begin that, as of Monday, that is the 8th of November, anyone that goes to the ministry, we are starting with our own staff. All of our staff are requested to be vaccinated. If they are not vaccinated, every 3 days they have to come with a negative COVID result before they can get to work. And if they cannot, remember, there is a CSA rule. If you cannot show up to work for 14 days, definitely you will be dismissed. And so we are calling on our staff. If you look at the various bulletin board around the ministry, that has been put forth, signed by Dr. Ketteh and approved by my boss, the minister. So as of Monday, we are going to require that. And thereafter, when we clean our own house, then of course, we will begin with the general public. If you want to do business at the ministry, we anticipate you coming in with your COVID negative result, or you come with your fully vaccinated card. Please, we are doing this to benefit the general public. So this is not something to safeguard, and people will say human rights. In order to fight for your human right, you have to be alive. If you're not alive, you cannot fight for human right. And if your actions is contraindicated to the life of others, then of course the public good has to take precedence. And so whatever we are doing is for the public good. So quickly, what is going on within the ministry? Just yesterday, I was in Ketteh to look at the construction and partial renovation of the Ketteh Health Center, where we are going to begin to provide services to the people of that county. Remember, the Reading Hospital has been burned down, so we are trying to do a very quick impact work on the Ketteh Health Center, so that we can provide some meaningful services like doing surgery and taking care of people there. So that work is ongoing, and I'm so excited about the work. In Ketteh, a town called Ketteh Riverside, presently we have an 80-bed hospital that will be fully completed. It's about 99% completed. By the 10th of this month, it will be fully completed. And this project has been implemented to the German government, and the implementer is the WHH. That is going very, very well. For the government part to furnish this 80-bed hospital, We have already brought in country 200 new hospital beds. 100 of those beds will be going to the hospital in Gambia. We have a brand new X-ray machine, and we have other machines that we are going to put at this facility. So very soon, the county of Riverside will have, for the first time, a major hospital, a building that is constructed as a hospital. What is considered St. Francis Hospital in Chester was built as a health center, a clinic. But because we did not have the funding to build a hospital, design and build a hospital, we have used that as a hospital. Now we're looking forward to the county having an infrastructure that is built and intended to run as a hospital. With that being said, the project in Bapolo is also ongoing. Presently, they are doing painting and they are laying some of the ties at the facility in Bapolo. That's a 100-bed facility. Early next year, a date will be set for that new hospital to be turned over to the people of Nigeria. With that being said, I want to say a big thank you for giving me this opportunity to share with the people of Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ketteh. And I can simply say to all of you, our media colleagues, what you have just read, by the time you ask him on the phone, you will explain exactly what you have said to the Liberian people. So before we take our questions, I'd like to invite a youthful Nigerian expert in his own area, Honorable Ubayu, the Acting Executive Director of the Environmental Protection Agency, who will provide more details, explanation of the President's address made at the ongoing climate change conference in Scotland, and will further educate our people listening to us in Rubadi, Crapley, Wegon today, Vamu, and the rest of the rural communities regarding climate change. What is climate change? Or why you in this climate change is big.
Thank you very much, Honorable and staying on existing protocol, like I say, but all protocols there. And like you already said, there is an ongoing conference in Glasgow, Scotland, and that conference is called COP, not the COP that they're stepping around here. Talking about serious COP is the conference of the party is COP 26, and this is the 26th gathering in short that's so deep. As far back as 1992 in Brazil, in Rio de Janeiro. It was first held in May at the Earth Summit. So since then, the countries around the world every year they gather, discuss on how to galvanize efforts to combat climate change. And so when they ask what is climate change, it's just a matter of it's a gradual change in our atmosphere, in how things happen. And of course, like the minister said, we live there down in my home in Woodmont here. In those days, we used to experience Yanu Pepe at the end of the year, December. Nowadays, you don't see Yanu Pepe. The white boy that used to fly, we don't see it any longer. So the changes in our life patterns, things we used to see, we don't see them anymore. Nowadays, you used to see rain during March, April, heavy. Now you see rain as far as December. And these are all changes that we put together in bigger terms and say climate change. Climate change is change in the atmosphere, change in seasonal pattern, change in how things happen. And it affects our life, not just like people in Monrovia, not just like people in Bicep. It affects Uncle Joe who makes fun in Todi. It affects Mantiwa who make okra in Grand Cayman County because If you are expecting more rain and now you have more sun, that's condition. It has effect on your crop production. It has effect on your crop yield. So all these things, as a country like Liberia, we as a government, the EPA, they call that the National Competent Authority or the National Designated Authority. It's our role and responsibility to ensure the sustainable governance of the environment in a way that it will not affect your cross production, it will not affect the way you make fun, it will not affect the water you drink, it will not affect the medicinal plant that you depend on in your community to survive. So based on that, we begin a party to the entire COP, we begin a party to the United Nations Framework Convention to combat climate change. As such, today our President, President George Weah, has led a Nigerian delegation to Glasgow, and in anticipation of what he traveled there for, he made a brilliant speech, well articulate. He spoke like a scientist, he spoke like a climate justice advocate. And so I'm here today on behalf of Ketteh to adequately explain the benefit in the context of what the president has gone to do in Glasgow, because we just thought the president had just traveled and just made a lot of speech. No, that speech has a lot of benefit. That speech suggests that Liberia is doing well, and I'm now going to tell you to what extent Liberia is doing well. First, let me start, before you interpret the president's message, let me start by telling you what has Liberia as a country done among other community of nations that allow, there are over 195 countries in the world. What has Liberia done that allow our President Weah, to be given the stage on the first day when all world leaders have gathered? On the first day, President Weah was given the stage to address world leaders, and there were two separate rooms. President Weah was placed in the room of President Biden, the UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson, and other world leaders. Boris Johnson right now placed in the other rooms of people that are not doing well. What the President Weah spoke on that day suggests that in the context of climate justice advocacy and environmental management, Liberia should be seen like Europe. We are doing substantially well in the context of what we think we do to protect the entire earth. So I'm going to be specific on those things that Liberia have done. One, and when President Weah was inaugurated, immediately what we did was immediate and unconditional ratification of the Paris Agreement. The Paris Agreement is an instrument that came into force in 2015 in Paris, France. And Liberia became a party, but guess what? Liberia did not ratify. Your failure to ratify suggests that you're not willing to work with the UN FCCC. Based on that, when President Weah took power, the first thing he did in June of 2018 was the immediate and unconditional ratification of the Paris Agreement. And as we ratified that agreement, it was deposited in New York. And by that, it made Liberia an active party willing to work with the UN FCCC. We did not just stop there. As we honor the UN FCCC, there's something we call the NDC now. That is what made Liberia a supreme mover and shaker in the context of climate negotiation. Our NDC, what are NDC? NDC are nationally determined contribution. These are commitments that Liberia as a country say, this is what we will do to ensure that we combat climate change. And I'm going to give a time frame to study all of those sectors. Initially, on our INDC, which is the initial national determined contribution, we had 6 sectors. But when President Weah and this government look at the trend, to what extent the environment is being degraded, the aggressive pattern increase into sea level rise, looking at the intergovernmental panel on climate change report, countries need to take drastic action. Based on this growing reality, Liberia decided to update our NDC as required on the Paris Agreement once every 5 years. So we're checking the entire sub-region. Liberia is one of the first and few countries that updated our NDC. Not just we updated our NDC, we added 3 additional sectors that were not in our first sector. We added the issue of fishery, we added coastal zone, and we added industry. These are ambition, we call it climate smart ambition, intended to accelerate our effort in combating global climate change. So that was done. And so that being done right now, going to the negotiation, that is why the president spoke the way he spoke. Not just that we do that on our NDC, after doing that, we also had a defined role to be specific. This little Santele, and I was trying to interpret it with our brothers and sisters who may not have the Santele face. On our forest governance infrastructure, because that is where we get most of our resources, our carbon resources. That is what makes a carbon sink. Carbon sink meaning we have that natural tendency to trap all of the loose CO2 in the atmosphere. Some of those CO2 being unleashed by countries that have that industrial forest. We are the ones trapping it. So when you check in the Upper Guinea region, we have more than 40% of the remaining forests. Our forests are not just forests, they are primary forests. They are not regenerated forests, they are primary forests. We are keeping all of them. When you go around the water side, you see the mangroves, right? On the Providence Island, all of these mangroves, they have the natural tendency to trap about 500 million tons of carbon per annum. But guess what? Our emission rate is less than 1 million. So meaning we're trapping more than we're unleashing. We're trapping more than we're emitting. So based on that, Lacroix is a serious negotiator. Lacroix is fighting for citizen hard to ensure that war is a safer place. So specific target we made on our ABC one was the reduction in our national deforestation rate by 50% by the year 2030. So on our NDC today, what the president has articulated in Glasgow is on our specific requirement, we will ask, but we have specific details, we quantify what we want to do, how we will do it, and what we corresponding effect in the context of fighting climate change. And so we said, by 2030, 50% of our deforestation rate will be cut down. And by doing that, we also say we're going to reduce our GHG greenhouse gas emission from forest conversion by 40% below what we BAU. BAU is business as usual. Doing one thing over and over expecting the same result. So we say we're going to navigate from that angle. And by doing that, right? By doing that, we are going to practically and physically engage in what we call the reduction on average 12,285 gigagram of CO2 equivalent by the year 2030. Meaning, all of this CO2 that should be trapped in the air, but this number that I gave, that's what I go with trap at that time. And we will also do replantation and regeneration. We're going to focus on planting trees in places that are already degraded. That's why our heritage rainforest, we have accelerated our ambition by saying we're going to plant these trees, and by planting the tree, given the soil content we have, we're going to do what we call carbon sequestration. Carbon sequestration meaning our natural ability to trap all of the CO2 and store it in the ground or store it in the trees. So that means a lot for countries like for bigger countries, developed countries like China, Russia, for Australia. That means a lot to them. So since that means a lot to them, our president made a speech and said there is structural imbalance in the financial architecture of climate financing. What does that mean in short? That means like when we say we do all of these things, right? We deprive our people. Those of you listening to me in Nigeria, people who are forest dependent, people who live on agriculture, people who live on fishery. We said because we want to combat climate change, we're going to reserve all of our forests in the Sabo National Park. We said the Crown Global National Corridor is going to be reserved. The Ketteh National Corridor is going to be reserved. So what is the corresponding benefit for our people that are serving as natural custodians for all of these resources? So what the president said, he said there was a structural imbalance in the financial mechanism. He meant to say we cannot be depriving ourselves of all of our natural benefits. And then countries that said they will deliver and give us resources, they do not give those resources. In 2009, precisely, developed countries dialogue and said, since all of these things are happening, and we are a bigger polluter, and consistent with the global concept of the polluter principles, we are going to give poor countries like Liberia, vulnerable countries like Liberia, 100 billion every year. But guess what? Since 2009 up to 2020, all of these countries they have failed on their pledges. So what the president was saying is, you say you will do this, you have not done it. We said we will do this, we have done this, and we have doubled. So for us to be related, for us to be sincere in this climate negotiation, you have to undo the structural imbalances in the financial infrastructure in the context of global climate negotiation. And don't make no mistake, in climate negotiation, people are bold, and our president was bold. He brilliantly articulated what our issues are. Because if we do not speak in that manner, the pressure comes from government, from the citizen, and the citizens they control the forest. The citizens are the real factor of climate change here. So our president's statement, furthermore, he talks about, he said we are the richer in terms of forest resources and biodiversity. but in the context of social economic development, we are the poorest. And this is the real irony. When we have all of these forest resources, when we have all together our NDC, when we have designated area of vast ecosystems for living in, and we say we're not going to improve, no livelihood will happen there, then there must be a corresponding benefit to our people. And I thought that statement by the president led to other bigger countries like America and other people bringing Labrador into a block and agreeing to reduce methane by a substantial number, more than 40% by the year 2025. That's how you saw President Joe Biden and other guys, and Labrador coming into a block, a negotiation block. So Labrador's point at that point, basically, we have the resources, our people are protecting the resources, our people must get the just benefit of protecting their forests. And that is what brings me to my concluding point on what the president spoke about. Embedded into the president's statement is something under the Paris Agreement in Article 6. It is the famous Article 6 of the Paris Agreement. It's called the market and non-market mechanism. And under the market and non-market mechanism of the Paris Agreement, in the context of how the president spoke, is all of what I have listed, all of these carbon resources that we say Labrador have, all these natural resources, there's a way you can leverage it on the carbon stock exchange market. There's a way you can sell your carbon advantage. Because in Labrador, we've already done our carbon accounting, we've already done our greenhouse gas inventory, we've done our forest inventory, and know how many trees we have, we know to what extent are we trapping CO2. So we can just speak about our resources and our further installation. So now, in the negotiation on the market and non-market mechanism, developed countries, they are the ones trying to determine the price of the carbon market. It's like I got the Ministry of Information, they have the platform. Then I tell them how much I want to pay them to use that platform. It's like going to the car dealer and tell the car dealer you have $50 for his car. It's the car dealer that should tell you the price of this car. So that is the kind of scenario the president was saying. We are the custodian of forest resources. We are the one with the carbon sink. You do not have the carbon sink. We should be getting the table to discuss in the carbon market. The negotiation to be fair. Those that can't do both must be fair. And countries that say they will get money, they must get those money. So in a nutshell, as fellow Liberians, dear colleagues from the media, and Minister, and my fellow Liberian citizens, the president's speech in Glasgow was adequate. It was a similar speech, that was made that led to us today acquiring 17 million for coastal intervention in West Point. Now that is real-time climate-induced impact. If you go to West Point, you see our brothers and sisters, they have experienced loss and damage on the climate-induced impact right there. They were forced to migrate, we call that forced migrant. And because of that, we did a study in 2018. And that study suggests that if nothing was done by the Liberian government, from 2018 to 2026, the entire West Point will have been degraded and the ocean will have gone as far as to where ADC and water market is. So I advised that to stop that, it was how we govern our resources, and by the grace of God and our involvement, we will acquire 7 million on TCS, the Green Climate Fund, to ensure that real-time climate intervention is made in West Point. So if you are sitting out there and wondering what the benefit, as a people inside the country, the street is being degraded by marine transgression, and similar speech led to us acquiring 10 billion today, and we are making intervention in Sando County. So there are other climate-induced impact all around the world. We believe from the EPA that the president's statement was adequate, it was timely, it was climate sensitive, and it was relevant to the point. What I want to conclude on is climate change is everybody's business, it affects your life, whether in the private sector, it affects your life, whether you are in the bush, it affects your life, whether you are in the city, it affects your life, it affects transportation, it affects energy, it affects everything you do. This note, I'd like to conclude and say, God bless you and God bless our country.
Thank you, Mr. Value. Thank you so much. We have questions for our guests. This kind of you know what? Question for each guest.
Thank you very much to all speakers before moving to the second and then first. Thank you, Minister. Mr. Bayu, I listened to the presentation, but I'd like to understand further the situation on the beaches. You talk about planting trees and deforestation and all of that. the situation on the beaches. You know, the sinker belt at the back on the beach side, most of the buildings and most of the areas are being undermined or threatened. What is the environmental, you know, body, your institution doing or working to ensure that? Because that's also has to do with a climate change situation. Dr. Ketteh, my question is, what legal backing your pronouncement of workers at the Ministry of Health or in the sector to be fully vaccinated, or else they will be denied as an attempt to put some individuals out of job, or the D26 base has attempt to somersault on the previous statement or pronouncement that is a voluntary process to be vaccinated. You choose or you don't. That's my question to you, sir. Prime Minister, thank you very much. Let me say, I'm sorry, but he said, I think he passed in my mind. He said, in fact, the Executive Management. With key interest on the Executive Management, I'd like to know specifically what have you done? Clear call. We have built, we consulted the room, this room, we are dealing with this, we are dealing with that, at this percentage, and this is one left, and this is country we tend to do it, and how soon we tend to see the bill turn over to the president for the president of the movie. Thank you.
This is the question portion of the press conference.
So, Minister, thank you so much for that question. For the executive mansion, that we know, we always have regulations. There's nothing new actually doing there. We are actually doing the landscaping. If you can see it from a distance, probably maybe you have not entered. You see that we have our team of engineers. They are on site. They are doing the grinding of the floor, doing tiles placement, they're doing patio paving, they're doing the ceilings. There are a lot of regulators, so doesn't need them they want to be specific. But so the next point of your question is that we are very hopeful that in January the president will actually have his program in that bill. That's why we're working day and night to make sure what we have said that we'll do to the point that when people for the president to be located at the mansion is actually going to happen. So my response actually answer your question because there are several activities that's ongoing, like tiles work, ceiling work, painting work, garden work, and just this. Everyone up here. So there are a lot of activities going on. There's nothing new being built because it's renovation. Thank you.
So thank you for the question. Remember, under Chapter 40 of the Public Health Law, the good lawmaker abrogated their responsibility and gave that to the nation. So under that law, our process is prevention and protecting the lives and the lives of the people of Nigeria. So it's under this law that we are operating. But remember, what we have indicated, you have to be fully vaccinated. If you choose not to be vaccinated, then every 3 days, you need to come to the ministry with a negative COVID result. So that is your choice. If you want to do that every 3 days and come over, that is fine. If you think that going through the hazard of someone poking in your nostril every 3 days and you want to take the vaccine, that is also good. And so you are now forced, or you have an alternative. Thank you.
Yeah, so thanks for the question on beach ceremony. Matter of fact, beach ceremony is illegal, especially along the ocean. They are all illegal to mine sand on the beach. Let me tell you this, the mining of sand is allowed, but it has to be done sustainably It has to be done from river. It has to be done to other designated and well-recognized sites. Before you mind saying you must have gone through the environmental impact assessment at the EPA and also through mines and energy, which is a sectoral lead. Because we provide that regulatory guidance to everything concerning the environment. But in terms of money of fame, it is the Ministry of Mines and Energy that takes the lead. Let me say this, for those of you listening to me, and you lay on money of fame, I said it very openly and quote me, as a practical climate scientist and environmental practitioner. Every wheelbarrow of sand you take, you bring the ocean closer to us. Every shovel of sand you take from the beach, dig our life very closer to our grave. That's what you do. So it is wrong to mine sand on the beach. It's wrong because it's an invitation to nature. You know, nature doesn't forgive. It comes at you, you see the ocean, it will kind of wrap itself, it goes back all by itself. Then you go and give it space, it will come at you, it will be extremely aggressive. So what have we done? If we follow us very actively, last week Saturday, I led a team of environmental technicians and inspectors where we demolished some structures that were illegally built, and some structures that were built in wetland of major ecological importance. We destroy those homes and consistent with the polluter-based principles and the principle of intergenerational equity. And so we did that because we think the right to a sustainable environment is more than human right. We are going to do more. We are also in Marshall, where we have identified the major hotspot for unsustainable sand mining. We confiscated many trucks and many movie equipment belonging to people who are artisanal sand miner, who are illegal sand miner. Is that substantially enough? No. But we want to call on citizens. You see, sometimes people in a community mining sand, they think they are doing you a favor. You think that is their livelihood. They are affecting your life. They are affecting our life. What we want to tell you, as we combat climate change, as our president makes a brilliant case for the world and other bigger countries in the world to balance the imbalances in the climate financial mechanism processes, it is our responsibility to fully realize. And just look at West Point. When you think you are doing yourself a favor, look what happened in West Point. People involuntarily move. If you think you are maintaining livelihood by digging sand, look what happened in Sando County. Think about what happened in Freetown a few years back. There was a landslide and people died. Now, I give you the suggested in conclusion. We get a study, and you can Google it. Morovia is among, I think, the 4 most vulnerable sectors in the world. We are below sea level, meaning if there is an inch of sea level rise today, we could be covered by the ocean. So we pray that will not happen. That's why we are taking aggressive action domestically to ensure that we honor our national economic contribution. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Before I conclude, I'd just like to go through this very important information. The nature of information, cultural affairs, and tourism in collaboration with the interviews on the 12th of November this month, organized National PR Seminar. The seminar is intended to bring together blind ministries and agencies and public corporations under one communication umbrella. We're going to be having a seminar in Ketteh, Master County. It's from the 12th to the 13th of November. And we're going to be sending out the communication to all, ministries and public corporations.
Yeah, we're so finished. We're so finished, so you can be ready.
We manage information sufficiently. Our rules and responsibilities must be spelled out at all times. So far, on behalf of the Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism, this has been a welcoming afternoon. We've heard from great platform guests, senior officials of government, to whom much is given, much is expected. We pray that the information provided here today will be used in the justice of our country. And on behalf of the minister who is currently away, I want to say a big thank you to you police of the food estates. As always, your support is enormous. We cannot forget that. So until next Thursday, Or another time, I want to say blessed Thanksgiving to you. And this briefing is officially concluded. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you so much for following. The entire process just ended. And it's a pleasure. The name is Stephen Quality listens to all of those ministers and directors of several agencies in the government. And thank you so much for playing your listening role. Do join us next Thursday, where another special briefing will be here at the Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs, and Tourism. My name is Stephen Colley, and have yourself a wonderful, wonderful time on Liberia and the diaspora as well.